You remember the exact shirt you were wearing the day you got rejected by someone you liked in ninth grade. The color of the walls, the song playing in the background, and how your stomach dropped. But the thing your boss told you last Tuesday, the actually important thing you needed to act on, is gone. Nothing. Like it was never said, and you're sitting here wondering what's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you, but something incredibly interesting is happening inside your brain, and once you understand it, you'll never look at your memory the same way again. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain was never designed to remember what matters to you. It was designed to remember what feels relevant to your survival, and your brain, brilliant as it is, often can't tell the difference between the two. So you end up with a flawless mental archive of embarrassing moments and a completely blank file where your responsibilities should be. In 2017, researchers Blake Richards and Paul Frankland at the University of Toronto published a landmark paper in the journal Neuron that flipped the entire scientific understanding of memory on its head. They argued that forgetting isn't a failure. It's an active, intentional process. The brain doesn't passively lose information over time. It works hard to erase it. They argue that the whole point of memory isn't to be a perfect recording device. It's to optimize your decision-making. And to do that efficiently, your brain has to constantly prune what it considers outdated, low stakes, or redundant. The problem is, your brain makes that call based on emotional charge, not logical importance. This is where the amygdala comes in, and why trivial things get burned into you like a brand. The amygdala is your brain's emotional alarm system. When something feels intense, embarrassing, frightening, surprising, joyful, the amygdala floods your hippocampus with stress hormones that essentially say, whatever you are experiencing right now, encode it deeply. A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, led by researcher Tali Sharot, used fMRI scans on people recalling their memories of September 11th and found that those who were physically close to the World Trade Center showed dramatically heightened amygdala activation when remembering. And those memories were correspondingly more vivid, more detailed, more alive. The amygdala acts as a biological highlighter. And here's the dark irony. It highlights based on arousal, not utility. So a mildly humiliating lunch with a coworker gets stamped into your long-term memory. A genuinely critical conversation you had while you were distracted, calm, or just tired barely registers. This means most of us are walking around with a completely skewed autobiographical record. The moments that shaped you most quietly, the patient teacher, the slow realization you were actually good at something, the conversation that gently nudged your life in a better direction, those don't spike your stress hormones. They don't trigger the amygdala's emergency recording button. Your brain treats them as disposable. What gets preserved is the high drama reel, the humiliations, the near misses, the charged moments. And then we use that skewed reel to build a story about who we are. That's the piece that really matters here. Because when you forget something important, most of us don't think, my amygdala wasn't activated during encoding. We think, I'm unreliable. I'm the kind of person who can't hold it together. I'm disorganized, scattered, and not quite enough. You take a neurological quirk and you turn it into a character verdict. And once you've decided that's who you are, you stop fighting the system. Because why would someone who is just bad at this bother trying to get better? So, here's the practical shift. Instead of trusting that importance alone will make something stick, deliberately recreate the conditions under which memory encodes well. When something genuinely matters to you, write it down immediately. Not as a chore, but as a conscious signal to your brain that this is worth keeping. Say it aloud. Return to it the next day. What you're doing is manually giving the hippocampus the reinforcement it didn't get organically from emotion. You're hacking the highlighter. Even a 10-second review of something important the morning after you learned it can dramatically increase your chance of holding on to it. But more than the tactic, sit with this. The story you've been telling yourself about your memory might be the most inaccurate thing you've ever stored. Your brain isn't broken. It's optimizing for the wrong thing because nobody told it what you actually value. That's not a character flaw. That's just biology waiting for you to take the wheel. So I want to ask you something, and I mean this genuinely. What's one thing you keep forgetting that, if you remembered it, would change something? Not the shirt, not the cringe. The thing that actually matters. Leave it in the comments. Make your brain encode it right now.